Welcome to Buddha's in Your Landfill. We're trying to carry a thread through here, these talks, and we've been talking about the Buddhas in the landfill, and we've been using this as a metaphor to extend the metaphor of the landfill to give us different aspects on it, different angles on it, because we're really talking about our everyday mind and our everyday world as the landfill. And we also need a story to hold these ideas together. And a story is a myth. And my favorite myth that holds me together, that I've been working in all my life, is Theseus and the Minotaur. Just briefly to tell you the story, this is an ancient Greek myth about a war between Cyprus or Crete and Athens, and the king of Crete won the war and made Athens pay tribute by and the king of Crete had a son that was a Minotaur. Just to cut it short, but the Minotaur was half bull and half man, and the king was so embarrassed and shamed that he built a labyrinth to hide the Minotaur and to keep him hidden from the world and his shame. So the Minotaur lived in the middle of the labyrinth, but it had to be fed. So he made Athens every year send 12 of its youth, its most beautiful youth, 5 women, 5 men, to the labyrinth where they fed the Minotaur. This was the yearly sacrifice. And so Theseus, the son of the king of Athens, said, I want to go kill the Minotaur. So he is the heroic figure. So he goes to kill the Minotaur, and he's standing in line to go into the labyrinth. And Ariadne, the daughter of the king of Crete, saw this hero, fell in love, and said, come here, let me, if you go into the labyrinth and kill the Minotaur, you can't get out. So you need a golden thread. See? Ariadne's thread. So when you go into the labyrinth, you unwind the thread, and then you can find your way out, you see. And also, you need a sword. Now, this is a sword. Isn't that beautiful? Reminds me of Crocodile Dundee when he pulled out his knife, you know, in a street fight. Now, this is a knife. So anyway, if you're going into the labyrinth, you're going to need a golden thread, and you're going to need a sword. Now, in the myth, the sword is the sword of discernment. The sword that tells the difference between reality and unreality. You can't go into the labyrinth unless you have that sword. So this is a sword that's, with the heroes, it's a boon given to him by the goddess to complete the mission. So let's take a look at our board. So if you take a look at the landfill now, we're looking at it as a labyrinth. And here's Theseus. And here's Ariadne with the thread. And here's the labyrinth with the Minotaur in the middle. And Theseus asked the question, what's a Minotaur? So that's going to be our, now that we know that this teaching that we're walking on, this discovery of understanding, is the thread. And we have a sword, which is the ability to discern between reality and unreality. But we have to find out and understand what the Minotaur is, because the Minotaur lives in all of us. See, these myths are about a story about the external world, but the myth is transcendent. And these myths are transcendent to us. So the myths are really a story that reflects our own journey. And to make the myth work for us, we have to see the myth as us. I can't see the myth as something objective, as an it. Oh, it's a story about Greece or whatever, and they used it to explain the world, or they didn't have science, so they had myths, and all these different misunderstandings of myth keep us from finding the transformative power of myth. All I know is what I learned from Joseph Campbell. So, and I started reading Joseph Campbell in 1970. So anyway, it's really helped me understand and work with myths in my own life. And this myth here is basically the classic story of the hero who doesn't go externally to kill the Minotaur, but goes internally. I have a cat that is meowing right now, so if you hear a little meow, yes, it's a cat. Now, if you remember, in the last talk, I think, we talked about tomcat love. Remember this? And we talked about restoring when I had to flip the camera in order to get the copy to come out so you could read it. I had to flip, and we talked about how in Tomcat Love, or Tomcat War, let's put it that way, what we have there is an example of how two tomcats meet to fight to restore the one. And now the question is, what is behind the division in the one that creates two that fight to restore the one? What is the Minotaur but the pain that is created when we divide the world into two, and then we fight to restore the world and heal the pain? So we're kind of looking at this from a psychological point of view, but also from a point of view from everyday mind, because we're always in conflict with something, somebody on Facebook, somewhere, in myself, in other people, in the world, because there's pain and I want to get rid of the pain. The problem is that we perceive the pain as to being caused by somebody else, and we don't see the Minotaur. We think the Minotaur is the other person. We think the Minotaur is something in the world or something in my mind. But we don't understand the Minotaur as being this center of pain in my heart or in my mind that I keep avoiding. I don't face it. And blaming it on others is a way of avoiding the raw pain that we bury inside of ourselves. It's called the wound that doesn't heal. In the Arthurian tales, it was the Fisher King who had the wound that would not heal, the lance wound in the side of Christ, the lance wound of the Fisher King, and it was the Grail Knight, it was Theseus, the Grail Knight, who was able to heal the wound that would never heal. So all of these are interconnected, these stories in movies and myth, and there's a central theme of healing the pain of the world externally, but primarily healing the pain within me. So all of our journey here is going to be hopefully building, following the golden thread out of this labyrinth of understanding who the Minotaur is, where the Minotaur is, and how to remove the Minotaur. Most people think you have to kill pain, kill the Minotaur with drugs, with addiction, or the pains inside, kill the other person who's causing my pain. None of these work. What we're looking for is a way for the cessation of pain, the ending of pain of myself in the world, you see. So thank you for dropping in again, and we'll pick up tomorrow, every day at 10 o'clock, and we'll continue this journey into and out of the labyrinth. Okay, thank you.